Theo is back on Days of Our Lives, so it's only natural for some fans to need a little refresher on his past in Salem. And that's where we come in. Who plays Theo on Days? Born in 2003, Theo was briefly played by a series of child actors until 2008 when Terrell Ransom Jr. stepped into the role. Before leaving after 7 years, Ransom earned 2 Young Artist Award nominations for his portrayal of Theo. In 2015, the young man was aged into a teen and recast with actor Kyler Pettis, who remained with the soap until 2018. But the young man returned to Salem again in November 2020 when Days recast the role with actor Cameron Johnson. Although Theo's visit then was brief, he returned in March 2021 for a slightly longer stint and returned again in October. Who are Theo's parents? Born to Abe Carver and his wife, Lexi, Theo's paternity was in question both before and immediately following his birth. Thankfully, follow-up tests proved that Abe, not Brandon Walker, had fathered Lexi's baby. They named the boy Theodore Brandon, after Brandon and Abe's late brother, Theo. But at the infant's christening, Abe was shot and presumed dead. Thankfully, he turned out to be alive, but then Lexi was presumed dead for a time. In 2008, 5-year-old Theo was diagnosed with autism, and Lexi stepped down from her position as chief of staff at the hospital to spend more time with her son. Lexi and Abe struggled with Theo's autism growing up. Paul Skipper/JPSstudios.com. When Theo ran away from home, Beau Brady was able to track him down and bring him home. The boy began making progress with his condition and acknowledged Abe and Lexi as his parents. Theo became very close friends with Beau and Hope's daughter, Sierra Brady. Sadly, Lexi passed away in 2012, leaving Abe to raise their son alone. When did Theo date Sierra? In 2015, a now teenage Theo grew closer to Sierra and discovered that Lanny Price is his half-sister. He received bullying text messages and was shocked when he learned they were coming from Sierra's stepbrother, Chase. And later, things got worse when Sierra confessed to Theo that Chase had raped her. With the help of Joey Johnson and Claire Brady, Theo abducted Chase and forced him to confess to the assault. Abe was worried that Theo and Sierra were getting too close, but Theo refused to stop seeing her. Unfortunately, she agreed with his dad and broke it off. After some time passed, Theo began dating Claire and temporarily moved into the DiMera mansion. After Abe was shot at a press conference, Theo pulled a gun on his shooter, Clyde, but froze up, allowing him to avoid arrest. Theo didn't appreciate Valerie's bedside manner with his dad. Howard Wise/JPSstudios.com. Theo was shaken by the return of Abe's ex, Valerie Grant, and did not approve of his father rekindling his relationship with her. Since he was happy with Claire, Theo wanted to help Sierra find someone, so he set her up with Wyatt. But Sierra was furious to discover that Theo had fed Wyatt all the information he'd used to woo her, and left town. Claire confessed to Theo that she'd hidden a letter Sierra had written him, but he forgave her. How did Theo get shot? Chad DiMera hired Theo to work at DiMera Enterprises, but this led to Andre asking the young man to do some shady things like deleting an incriminating photo of Chad standing over Demo's dead body. But it was when Kate asked Theo to break into a warehouse that everything changed forever. J.J. Devereaux interrupted the break-in and gave chase, cornering Theo in Salem Place and not recognizing him under the hoodie, shot him when he thought he had a weapon. J.J. was horrified to discover who he'd shot. XJ Johnson/JPSstudios.com. Theo's family rallied around him as Valerie performed surgery to save the young man's life, and JJ was utterly devastated at what he'd done. Thankfully, Theo pulled through but had to leave Salem to seek special therapy in Africa. Why did Theo return? A couple of years later, Theo has returned to Salem looking a bit different but much recovered and reunited with his family. Having spent his time away with JJ, the two have mended fences and came home for Jack and Jennifer's anniversary party. During his visit, Theo reconnected with Claire, though when she kissed him, he explained that he was seeing someone in South Africa. Before leaving, he also promised Lanny and his family that he would be back to see the babies when they were born. In March 2021, Theo came home again to visit Lanny's twins and catch up with his family. He explained he'd broken up with his girlfriend, but then it turned out that his ex, Chanel Dupree, was also in Salem. She offered to join him when he went back to South Africa, but Theo was sticking around town. Because he had also reconnected with Sierra, who had lost her recent memories and had feelings for Theo instead of her husband, Ben Weston. Unfortunately, while Theo proposed and Sierra accepted, their wedding day was ruined when Sierra was whisked away so Ben could try one last time to restore her memories of their love. And succeeded. Wanting to get out of Salem, Theo decided to return to South Africa, and feeling the same way, Claire went with him. Stay tuned to see how Theo's story continues. Ad block test.